Al-Damir. In Arabic we call it Damir. They say يُعَذِّبُهُ ضَمِيرُهُ, right? His conscience tortures him. Why? Because he's done something bad. Where does Damir come from? Where does Damir come from? That's part of the covenant, part of agreement. We agreed with Allah. That's part of it. We know somehow what's good and what's bad. And when we do something bad, it's not easy, by the way. It's not easy. It's very hard. Because we have to go against that agreement with Allah. That's how we remember the agreement, by the way. It's not like we remember meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we feel it within us. It's hard to go against it. So those, the rebellious ones, the fasiqeen, what is their problem? They went against, they betrayed their agreement with Allah, the covenant with Allah. That's it, they do the things against their conscience. They worship other than Allah. They steal, they commit zina, they commit murder, they do bad things, they live their life unaware of Allah, not paying attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not giving Allah His rights. And that's why, by the way, do you know today how this is explained? They tell you, I feel like my life is empty. You find someone, they do a lot in their life, like probably they have a business or they have a job and they work and they're very productive. And they have probably made good finances and they seem to have a family and everything, but I tell you, there's something missing in my life. I feel this emptiness in my heart. There's something missing, and they search for it. Again, that's the covenant. That's the covenant. Reminds them, hey, there's something else. There's something else you're designed for. But either they haven't looked into the Quran, or they haven't really seen the truth of Islam. There are many reasons. But again, that's the agreement. So it shows itself in many ways. It's like more, good morality. That's part of it. Conscience is part of it. Again, that sense of guilt when we do something bad is part of it. Again, the sense of emptiness. What we call meaning in life. Sometimes people say, I feel like I want my life to be more meaningful. I want to do something great, something bigger, something good. I want to help other people. That's part of your fitrah. That's part of your agreement with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's how it reveals itself. It's a different type of knowing than just remembering. Okay? It's mixed with your system. It's in your genes. It's in your genetic makeup. So it pushes you. It's deeper than what you know, by the way, in your mind. That's much deeper. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's why it's very powerful. So those people who don't benefit from the book of Allah because they say, why does Allah mention such a parable or such an analogy? Right? Allah is saying these are the rebellious ones. Why? Because they are the ones, Allah describes them now, He says they are the ones who betray the agreement with Allah, the covenant with Allah. They break it. They go against the human nature. الَّذِينَ يَنقُضُونَ عَهْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مِيثَاقِهِ وَيَقْطَعُونَ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ أَن يُوصَلَ. And they cut or untie what Allah made should be connected. What is that? That's basically, there are many things, but to give you powerful examples, connecting to parents, giving parents their rights. Allah says in the Quran, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah made it an obligation, that you worship only Him and that you be good to your parents. Good to your parents. These are the connections that Allah wants to be there. Connection. First, the connection with Allah. And those people are rebellious. They've disconnected themselves from Allah. That's a bad thing. Number two, usually people who do this, usually they're not good to their parents. And Allah, it's really sad. The other day, and this was in where I live in Whitby, okay, there was an older couple. And like my friend is their neighbor for such a long time, maybe 15 years. And he hasn't seen the man, like a senior man and woman, husband and his wife. He hasn't seen the man in a few months. So he sees the older woman lady and he says to her, where's your husband? I haven't seen him. She says, he slipped and he broke his pelvis. And he's been in the hospital for months, recovering. He hasn't been home since. And so he says, says, like, these are my neighbors and I don't know about them. So he decided to go and visit him in the hospital. So he visited him in the hospital and he realized that this guy has 2 sons and 1 daughter. And they are adults, they're married, who haven't visited him in the hospital. They see him once a year in Christmas. They see their parents once a year, that's it. Hardly phone calls even, like every other month there's 1 phone call, that's it. How come? How come? You see, these are the things that Allah wants to be connected. These are the ones Allah wants to be connected. The Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ الْبَيْتَ يَكُونُ أَهْلُهُ فَجَرًا. The Prophet ﷺ says, the household, the people in it do bad things. They do like things that are haram. يَكْثُرُ مَالُهُم وَتَطُولُ أَعْمَارُهُم بِصِلَتِهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows them to be rich. Allah increases their wealth. And Allah extends their time, their lifespan in this world. Why? Because they stay connected to one another. They're good to one another, like children to parents, parents to their children, siblings among each other. This is silat al-rahim. Silat al-rahim. These are important things. They're part of our fitrah. They're part of us being Muslim. And not only, these are the ones who deserve the most in our lives. Who else? Those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, other believers. You're supposed to be connected to them. You're supposed to be good to them. It's not a matter of choice, by the way. You have to be good to them. Who else? Neighbors. Even if they are non-Muslim, they're human beings. They have rights upon us. They have rights upon us. The Prophet ﷺ says, ما زال جبريل يوصيني بالجار حتى ظننت أنه سيورثه. The Prophet says, Jibreel kept telling me to take care of parents, take care of neighbors, be good to neighbors, until I thought he was going to give the neighbor a share of the inheritance. Like if someone dies, they say, like, his neighbors are going to get a small share of it at least. Like he's just like, he almost made him a family. Why? Because these are the things Allah wants us to connect, keep them tied together. So Allah is saying those who go against their fitrah and against their covenant with Allah, they also untie and they break these ties that Allah wants to be connected. وَيُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And they bring about corruption on the earth. And we said, like they bring corruption on the earth as the hypocrites. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They bring corruption, but they think they're actually doing good. Like they say, listen, oh, freedom. We give people their freedom. You do whatever you want. You say whatever you want, right? And you find like you are destroying people's morality with this, with what you call freedom. And let me just tell you the other day about how people use freedom maliciously. Now, it's not enough that they've spread a lot of like atheism and a lot of immorality everywhere around the world. Now they're targeting more the Muslim countries. So recently, 3 weeks ago, in Jordan, which is a Muslim country, there was a conference to be held. And the conference was made by an organization called Mu'minun Bila Hudud, Believers Without Borders. And in the conference, the topics, the themes, like one of the themes was, when was the birthday of God? Honestly, Miladullah. This is not disbelief. This is disbelief. And this is happening in a Muslim country. And they have like other things, the history of God, etc. And the speakers were not known to be people of knowledge, right? So I would say, fortunately, the authorities interfered because they realized there would be a lot of issues and trouble, so they cancelled the conference. And many people were relieved, like this is going to create a lot of issues and problems. Now the guy who was the head of that organization in Jordan, what did he do? Let me tell you the story how it unfolded. Okay? Police was called, and this man was found being physically attacked with knives. He had cuts in his body, and he was found in the woods. And basically his car was hijacked, he was kidnapped, he was abused and then thrown in the forest. Police investigate. So they interrogate him, they look at evidence, they check his car and so on and so forth. And the police figure out it is all staged. It's all staged, all made up. Because his conference was cancelled, he said, I received death threats from religious people. And obviously nothing happened because these threats or these claims or these complaints that he made were not taken seriously. He agreed with his own nephew, his own relative, to actually that his nephew cuts himself. And they throw his car somewhere, and his nephew drops him in the forest. After stabbing him, he throws him in the forest. Why? To fake a whole case. And these are the people who say, like when their conference was cancelled, they say, oh, you don't believe in freedom, you suppress people's rights, etc. And we want to warn against extremism, etc. What is extremism? You see how people abuse? So this person thinks he's doing good, right? And he's claiming that I'm doing something good, I'm educating people, I'm enlightening people. Enlightening people about what? With this level of morality, we're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as like, when was the birthday of God? What type of... This is exactly, this verse describes such people. They think that they are doing something good, but they're actually creating corruption on earth. So Allah is saying they are creating corruption on earth. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. These will be the losers. They might be actually, by the way, their conspiracies and their plans might work. Their schemes might work. They might seem to be successful in what they do. And you will find actually, like some of the atheists, for example, they struggled at some time, but now they are achieving a large following. Some of them are achieving a large following. You'll find people from all faiths. Some youth are actually questioning their faith, right? So their call to atheism is gaining momentum in certain areas. But are they successful? Allah is saying, no, these are the losers. These are the losers, because the real test is not how productive you are, or how much you achieve in this world. It's really whether you make it to paradise or not. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes back to the same core message of the Quran. كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ. Allah is speaking here rationally. Allah is speaking to our minds. كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَمْوَاتًا فَأَحْيَاكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. How could you disbelieve in Allah when He is the one who brought you from non-existence into existence? And then He causes you to die, then He brings you again back to life. How do you disbelieve? How do you disbelieve in Allah? How do you not worship? How do you not worship Him, the one who brought you to life? What else do you want to worship? What else do you want to do? And again, by the way, this challenge stands and will stand forever. Those who today claim that belief in God is not a rational thing, okay? Like the atheists, they say if you believe in a God, you're not scientific, you're not rational, etc. Okay, these are their claims. Okay, we say, what's the alternative? What else do you have? They say science. Science until today cannot solve the puzzle of existence. Till today. Because the rules of science tell you can't get something out of nothingness. At some level there was nothingness. How did this whole thing come into existence? Really, how did the earth, the moon, how did material itself, how did that come into existence? There's no scientific explanation. There is no scientific explanation at all. And then they dare call call you, if you believe in Allah and a creator, they call you creationists. You are a creationist. Well, basically, they try to imply you don't use your mind. But tell me, who really doesn't use their mind? You don't have, science doesn't tell you anything about the creation. It doesn't explain existence. It doesn't tell you where this whole thing came from. It doesn't give you any answers with regards to this. Most of science is most of it is descriptive, especially when it comes to life. It describes how things work. That's it. But it cannot tell you where life came about. How did life come about? You know, one of the challenging things in science, by the way, the challenging topics that really scientists, physicists, biologists, psychologists, still like they have no clue what it is. If they tell you, like science doesn't tell us anything with regards to these. Consciousness, awareness, what we call experience. You know, you feel sad, you feel happy. I'm paying attention to you now. Some of you are paying attention to me now, right? That phenomena that we call experience, awareness, what is it? There's no explanation for it. They call it the hard problem of consciousness in science. They call it, look it up by the way, the hard problem of consciousness. There is no explanation for it. No explanation whatsoever. Science cannot explain it. So, how do you expect science to explain God, or even explain God away? That's the issue. That's the issue. So Allah is saying a simple question. How do you disbelieve in Allah? He's the one who created you. He brought you into existence. Then not only that, He takes you out of existence. Then He brings you back into existence again. So this is not something that you can contend with. ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. Then after that you will return unto Him. You will come back to Him. You will come back to Him. So again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is implying that even if you disbelieve, fine, you will return and you will see. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, one of his students, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, one of his students, he was debating with some of the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila, they deny adab al-qabr. They deny punishment in the grave. He was debating with him and he's trying to convince him. That guy is not being convinced. He's not taking it. So he's frustrated. So he goes back to his teacher, Ahmad bin Hanbal. He says, Ya Imam, inna fulanan la yu'minu bi'adhab al-qabr. Such person, he doesn't believe in the punishment of the grave. Imam Ahmad, like the other guy is really troubled. Imam Ahmad looks at him like, he's so calm. He says, Da'hu sayamutu wa yara. Leave him alone. Why are you so troubled for that? Leave him, he will die. He will see for himself. Again, Allah is saying, ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. Then you're going to come back to